everyone. Welcome to another episode of Into the Pit. I am so glad that we got in touch with this nice lady from the UK. Her name is Clifford-Fennell.
Yeah.
Right? I did it right?
You did it. You did it.
I
good.
did it. Yes. Yes. No, but seriously, I watched her go live on Facebook, and she's a psychic medium, and she's so awesome. And like I told her before we got on air, she could read me the phone book, and I would sit there and listen because I love the accent. So how are you, Miss Claire?
I'm very well, thank you, Carl. Lockdown, you know, it's all good. I'm all good, we're all good. Thank you.
And the good thing about what you do is you don't have to actually be in front of the person physically in order to be able to read them. And so...
No. And and that's an interesting point as well. I don't know if we've even started yet, but I can read people over the telephone, over text, which is incredible. And once you get that link, you know, it's sort of, yeah, it's amazing. So, yeah. But I do like people in front of me. I do like to see people in front of me.
So, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Margate, which is a little town. It's about an hour and 10 minutes from London, and we're on the southeast coast. So we've got the countryside over there, and then we've got the sea. So I've always lived by the sea. Very important to me. Yeah.
You know, something about the water that is so calming. That's me. I want to live by the water. If I'm going to retire, it's got to be by the water.
Yeah. When I lived in London, of course, there's no real water there. I really missed it. So 10 years in London, and then I moved back down here by the sea, and it's just part of me, really. You know, love it.
And so what did you do as a little girl? What was your favorite thing?
Oh, blimey, climbing trees, probably. Yeah, I used to like climbing trees and doing all stuff. I was a real tomboy. So, yeah, I used to, I don't know, come home with, you know, bleeding fingers and legs from climbing trees and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of friends, but I used to take myself off on my own. And I think that is because of the gift that I have. And I think it happens with a lot of people who have the gift. They sort of don't fit in. But yeah, as a kid, I used to love going down the beach and, you know, exploring. You know, if there's a hole in the water, we used to have like cliffs by the sea, and there'd be holes in there, like smugglers used to use them, you know, because there was a lot of smugglers down this way. You know, you see a hole and you go and climb in it and see what happens, where it goes to. But yeah, no, I like to explore, you know. I wasn't a girly girl at all, not at all.
Me either.
Glad to hear it, Kyle.
So when did you find out that you had your gift?
I want to say from when I sort of got my head around, I would say from about 9 or 10, things started to get serious. Before then, I knew that I was sort of different, but 8, 9, 10, stuff started to happen, and I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know about ghosts, I didn't know about spirits, I didn't know any of that. You know, you'd be in your room and there's scratching on the wall and there's nothing on the other side. The lights would be turning on and off and stuff like that. And I think because being brought up in the 70s was, you know, it wasn't a thing. You know, now, if anything like that happened, you'd have 100 people you could speak to about it. Mm-hmm. But in those days, I'd tell my mum and dad and they wouldn't believe me. So this sort of carried on until I left home. I left home quite young, I was 16, and I was plagued by spirit. And there were times that I thought I was going mad, that I was going crazy, and or that I was already crazy. And then the years went by and things were happening, and I sort of started linking with these things, you know. But the problem was I get the negative spirits with the good spirits. So it was just like, there's no way I could deal with it as a young person, you know. But, you know, I decided to start a paranormal team up. That was around about 14 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. And I just wanted to face it, I wanted to deal with it. And through that time, I sort of developed. And then over the last few years, I've been doing this job, my mediumship, and it's awesome. I love it.
I mean, but you didn't start out in life saying, "Oh, I want to be a psychic or a medium." I mean, you certainly
No,
had other aspirations.
I did. I absolutely love animals, and I'm a vegan. But I'm only recently a vegan, but I've never. Animals have always meant so much to me, and I've got pictures of me when I was at school with badges on, like "Save the Whales" and stuff like that. Nature and animals always have been a massive love of mine. What did I want to be? I wanted to be a tennis player, but because I had asthma, I couldn't do that. Or it was just like, don't do it, you've got asthma. I think the 70s and stuff like that, it was a weird old time, wasn't it? It's so very different than it is now. And yeah, I don't know if I wanted to be. I always wanted to be an actor, an actress. Sort of, yeah, got that later on. But yeah, just, I liked taking things apart, like radios and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I like taking things apart, put it back together again, and it's working. Yeah, very technical. I'm very technical. So,
I had a
yeah.
little brother that he liked to take stuff apart, but he couldn't never put it back
Broken.
together. That was it.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of that went on, Kyle, where I broke things. But I liked to know how things worked, and you know, radios were a particular favourite of mine to take apart. Yeah, so yeah, just yeah.
Well, I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with your abilities as well, because you kind of have to dissect things in a way,
Well,
and
you do. You have to, when you're getting a message from spirit, you have to learn very quickly how that person in spirit is working. So every single person on this planet is a different personality. We're all very different, and you have to learn very quickly how they work. Sometimes they work with the database that I have in him, and they work very well, or they introduce their own stuff, and I have to figure it out very quickly. But I love it. I love the challenge of that. But I also love it when they are so clear, the messages are so clear, and they work with me beautifully. But yeah, challenges, definitely.
now I watch a lot of the psychics and the mediums on television, and some of them, especially like Teresa Caputo, who we talked about
Yeah.
earlier. She gets certain visions of certain objects, and she just knows that means something in particular. Do you
Yes.
get that as well?
Yeah, it's called clairsentience. It's knowing. When you know something is right, and it's really difficult to explain, to put into words. But if I know it's right, I put my life on it. I know it's right. And there's so many different ways they work. They speak to me, so that's clairaudient. I see them, that's clairvoyant. I smell them occasionally. Smell's not a big thing for me, but when I smell something, it's, you know, I do have that as well. And that feeling that something's right. And they work in metaphors with me, a lot of them as well. They'll give me a metaphor, but they tap into my database in here, so I know what they mean. So,
That's
but
pretty
yeah,
amazing.
it's
Now,
cool, isn't it?
and I've always been curious, because I think, well, how do you see these things, or you hear these things? It's beyond what I can imagine. So
Yeah,
I've always
I'll try
wanted to
and
know, how do
explain.
you do that? I mean, how does this work for you?
So most of the spirit that come through, so they really do as they're supposed to. So they stand on the side. So I have the paternal side this side, the father's side, and the maternal side this side, and in the middle is friends and stuff like that, or cousins or whatever. but that they usually, and they come forward and they show me what they're wearing, what they look like, how tall they were, whether they had a limp or, you know, stuff like that, whether they had glasses on, dark skin, light skin. They show me, they're really good. And they show me what they look like. So I can describe that to the sitter, the person who I'm reading, and then that you're like this, they start doing stuff. So they start playing a banjo, or they do stuff. It's like, what's the game? Charades. It's like charades. You know, when you do something, you've got to, you know, find out what it is. Anyway, so they dance and they do all sorts of strange things. For instance, you know, I've had a very elderly lady with roller skates on. She's roller skating, you know, so, and then I say that to the client and they go, oh yeah, well, you know, I've got skates. So it's, you know, it's, they like to show me, and that could be anything bizarre. And there has been some really bizarre stuff that they've shown me. And because I speak my truth, what they show me is what they want me to tell. And so whatever it is, I just have to tell it. And I actually trust spirit more than I do live people.
Because there's got to be times you're scratching your head going, I don't understand this. But then the person you're talking to, it clicks with them.
Yeah. And also the other way as well, actually, you're getting all this stuff in for somebody and they go, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And go, well, I have to give it as it is. And then later they'll message me and go, I know what that was. That's blah, blah, blah. You know, and you have to... So this is why if somebody's sitting there and they go, no, 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 it would be very easy to go, oh, all right, then I can't read you. But actually what's coming through is true and real for them. It's just that they can't remember. So, you know, I work with that as well. So you have to work with a lot of things. It's all jumbled into one.
Now, I'm going to ask you, it's going to be a little bit more on a personal level, I guess, and it may not be an easy question to answer, but, you know, this is another thing that I've been curious about, because I know so many mediums and psychics that they're absolutely wonderful people, and a lot of people don't want to know them for the person that they are, just for the things that they can do. So do you feel like a lot of people just want to be your friend because of your abilities? And can you distinguish between who is sincere and who, you know, who's just using you?
Yeah, no one's used me. I don't feel like anybody has used me. The people that I come into contact with my mediumship are really lovely people. They want to, they've got healing that needs to be begun. They've got, you know, things that need sorting out. I've never felt used. I've never felt used by anyone, Kyle. Maybe that will happen, but I'm actually a very strong personality. Can't you tell? And I know, it's just the nature of it. I know if someone's in life trying to take advantage of me, and I cut it, stop it, dead. So yeah, no, I don't feel used at all. I feel blessed to be able to help people, and the people that come to me need my help, so I'm happy to give it.
Well, you know, like I have certain talents, like I like to draw and paint and things like that. And when somebody, oh yes, I love that's my thing.
Good.
And you know, if people ask me, hey, can you do this for me, draw this picture or paint this picture or whatever, I'm more than happy to do so. And
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. And there is, you know, it's like sometimes when you're out and people know what you do. Oh, who's around me at the moment then? And I go, well, I'm not working now, so I won't do that.
Right.
So it's like you know, so you know, it's like just your entertainment. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like that. Although, you know, it isn't like that. But when people go, oh, go on then. Who have I got with me? And I go, I don't know. I'm not going to entertain that. So I know when to say no.
Yeah, you've got to know when to say no, because then it gets to be that's all they want from you.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying that my friends and family that ask me to draw and paint for them, that's all they want.
No, yeah,
I'm more than happy to do so. In fact, I feel like it's kind of my duty to share that with them.
yeah.
And it's one of those, this is the least I can do for you kind of things, you know?
But people do push their luck, don't they? If they want
Sometimes.
something from you. Yeah. Oh, I can deal with them very well, Kyle, those sorts of people.
Well, you know, there's been times in my life where I've kind of hit that wall, and I feel like I need some kind of a message, and so
Yeah,
I will ask my friends who have these abilities, you know,
yeah,
do you have a message for me?
that's right.
But then I walk away thinking, oh my God, they've got to think that's all I want from them. But this, you're actually helping
No,
me.
no, because I can tell what sort of person you are. You know, it's like we were talking earlier on about, you know, I'll give you a reading because, you know, it's like that. So I'm sure friends in your life, you don't mind doing that for, you know, helping them out or them helping you out. They don't mind that. Like I don't mind helping my friends, you know. But actually, I have to say, there was one guy who got in touch with me
Hmm.
and he showed me pictures and he said, "Can you help me? These are my friends. I want to know what happened, blah, blah, blah." And I actually linked with the people involved who had passed, quite violent deaths. And it kept going on, and I'm thinking, there's something not right about this. And this guy didn't know those people at all. He just wanted to know what had happened and how it happened. And I told him, and he keeps getting on to me. Oh, what about this guy? Look at this picture. And he doesn't get that I actually haven't answered him for a while because he is pushing it too far. So yeah, I just ignore people like that, you
Well,
know. And he's still trying to get something from me.
well,
Good luck.
I guess you would say attraction to people with abilities is not so much their abilities, but their personality that goes along with it. Because
Yeah,
so many of you are so jovial, and you
yeah,
know, and it's awesome to have somebody so positive, you know, in
yeah.
your
And I
life. So
think spirit pick us for that. Even though, I mean, I always think that people like mediums have had real trauma in their life and real like horrible childhoods and whatever else. You know, everyone I know like me has had something happen, but they just come out and they're positive, you know. And spirit want that. They want people like that to work for them. There's no point in having someone negative, is there, who's got the gift? Where I mean, that take me somewhere else, wouldn't it? So I think there is something in that about, you know, us being positive.
well, you know, you have to have a certain way of looking at life. And some people, like the saying goes, you either see the glass
Powerful.
half full or half empty.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you know, you could easily say, okay, well, this happened to me when I was a kid, and this bad happened to me, and you know, the
yeah,
world's coming down on me. I can't take it anymore.
yeah,
I'm just going to be an introvert,
yeah.
but
But
yet,
yeah, and that's exactly what happens. But don't get me wrong, Kyle. I get days where I am really down, and
oh yeah.
But I think mainly I am a positive person. But I do, yeah, I get my down days and stuff like that. I just make sure that nobody sees me when I'm like that.
Well, that just proves that you're human.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Unfortunately.
I still think I'm part reptilian, but haven't been able to prove it yet.
You may very well be, Kyle. You might have
And
to pick up on that.
okay, something else I wanted to talk to you about because I
Sure.
love music, and I know you were a DJ.
I was, yeah.
And I love that picture that you have where you're at the turntables and
Oh, yeah,
everything.
concentrating.
Okay, you got to tell me about that.
Right, okay. So, I think I was probably about 18 or 19, and all my friends were DJs, boys, and nobody would teach me how to DJ. So,
Oh,
I taught myself, and I had like the worst decks you could possibly learn on. Anyway, so I taught myself how to mix and stuff like that. So I was getting better than the boys. And I sort of just fell into being around people who were DJing in London, and I ended up doing clubs and everything in London. like, you know, and I'm quite a confident person. You can tell that, can't you? But
Yeah. I thought you were shy.
yeah, shy and retiring. Um, and so I was happy to get up and do it, you know. But anyway, when I first started doing it properly, well, I had these decks and they were really rough. And there was another DJ who's now a friend of mine, and he was at this party, a house party, and he went, "Oh my God, how are you even mixing on those decks?" It's because when I put my mind to something, I want to master it. Like taking the equipment apart and stuff, not, you know, when I was a kid, you know, taking radios apart, I want to master it and I want to be good at it. And the thing about the DJing was, I DJed for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was really good at it, but I'm not very good at managing myself. And so I'd just go to clubs and I'd get paid good money and, you know, do the DJing and stuff like that, but it never really went anywhere. And then when I was 30, I became pregnant with my son.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of, but then I did go back to it. I did go back to it after, you know, but not like before. But yeah, so I got better than the boys, and that will teach them for not teaching me how to do the decks. But yeah, if I put my mind to something, I you know, I will try and master it. But I am like, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. That's a very British saying.
I know exactly what you mean.
I can do everything. I do all the DIY in the house. You know, I made all the furniture in the garden. What can I say?
Now, do you have a favorite kind of music?
Oh yeah, house music.
House music?
US house music and underground garage, which was here in Britain, bass and beats. Bass, lots of bass. I'm a bass and beats girl. And it's quite funny because when my son plays music, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that. But he thinks I'm really uncool because he thinks I'm old. But I'm like, I was DJing that sort of music in clubs, Jacob, before you were born, you know. But yeah, so love the DJing. But it's something I don't do now. I don't do it.
Now, see, I wanted to do that like on a radio station when I was younger.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what's stopping you?
Being lazy,
Nothing.
I guess. Nothing being
Listen,
lazy.
you're on lockdown, Kyle. You can practice and you could do it. You could be really good at the end.
Now, I'm talking about, you know, sitting on a radio station and playing music for people, and, you know, that's been my goal, but, you know, it is what it is.
Why don't you do it?
I don't know why. I don't have an excuse.
Yeah, there you go.
There's no
There's a little
excuse.
seed for you.
I have to try.
Maybe you should try. And why not?
And so you have a YouTube channel?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, you want to let everybody know where they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? I think it's Evidential Psychic Medium Claire Clifford-Fennell. That's what it's under. I almost had to look then. Because I've got all these, yeah, I just like do the website and whatever else. I've got a website as well, which is clairvoyant.com.
Okay.
So I've got the YouTube, I've got the Spirit Connections page, where you've been on, where I do live broadcasts. So what happens is, you know, you can come on, it's all free, unless you wanted a private reading, and then, you know, whatever. But you come on and I read you, and you've seen me doing that, haven't you, Kyle?
Yes.
Live. So people come on and they go, oh, can you read me? And I'll read them, and you know, get some really good connections like that. I do love the broadcasts. So I've got the YouTube channel and Spirit Connections, and I've got the clairvoyant.com website.
So you need to send me all your links so we can put them on our social media and share that with everyone.
I will. Thank you. Yeah, I will.
Oh, well, the time has just flown by. So...
I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. And you still are sitting here talking to me. I can't believe it.
Oh, I'm good at talking, Kyle. It's been lovely talking to you and getting to know you as well, you know, so it works both ways.
Wow.
So thanks for having me.
Very much appreciate that. Well, anyway, thanks everyone for joining, and please tune in. We'll have a lot of other guests coming on that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Thank you, Claire, for being on our show,
My pleasure.
And y'all enjoy. Take care.
Po boy.